Well, with me right now is Dr. John Hovannisian of Harvard Eye Associates. Always good to see you, sir.
A pleasure.
Welcome back.
Always,
It's
Ken.
been a
Thank
while
you.
since you've been on.
It has been a while. It's great to be back.
Yeah, and
Good to see
today
you.
we are talking about, as I alluded to, a new type of lens implant that, in a way, kind of goes back in time, in a sense, right?
That's right. Back in time and forward in time.
Yes.
The great thing about technology is that it's always advancing, and old ideas sometimes resurface in great new ways. Here in Orange County, as we've talked before, this is the Silicon Valley of eye care. More than any place else in the world, new technologies get developed here, which means that we get a chance to use them, to test them, and to offer them to patients. And you remember in third grade, you made a camera with a pinhole lens,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And you did that because a pinhole doesn't need a lens. It allows light rays to pass straight through, and they don't need to be focused. And it allows a film camera or even a digital camera or even the eye to focus very well far and near. And now a lens implant is being designed to actually use a pinhole. And it's remarkable. It looks like what you see here on the screen. It's a simple design that's based on a traditional type of implant, one that has two arms on the outsides that you see that reach out and will fill and hold the lens in place inside the capsule in the eye where the lens goes. And then the optic, or the focusing part, is that larger circle in the center. And in the middle of that, just down where the pupil comes down, is this dark circle. And most of the light coming into the eye, about 80 or 90%, will come through that small opening in the center of the lens that you see, that dark center circle. And so, like a pinhole camera, it allows depth of focus.
Before we go any further, how large are one of these?
Yeah, great question.
Like if I was on my fingertip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lens of the eye that we're removing is much larger than the lens implant. The lens of the eye we're removing is about the size of an aspirin tablet.
Okay.
But the lens that we're putting inside is about 5 millimeters in diameter, so that's 5 thicknesses of a dime. Okay. About the width of a kind of a narrow pencil eraser.
Okay.
And then those arms extended to about 12 millimeters to make it a little bit longer. So about a half an inch total diameter from tip to tip of that shape that you saw on the screen.
And these arms act as they move with
stabilizers.
The eye. Okay.
They fill the eye. So when we take the lens out that's larger, we leave behind the capsule or envelope that held that lens. And then into that envelope, we place this new smaller lens. Okay. And the reason we want a smaller lens is because we can put it in through a smaller opening in the eye. The opening we make in the eye wall is less than 1/8 of an inch in size. It doesn't need stitches. It seals itself at the end of the procedure. And so these soft lenses curl up into a tight ball. We place them through a thin, like straw, into the eye, and then they unfurl inside capsule, and there they remain for the rest of the patient's life.
Interesting.
And they center themselves with those two arms that I showed. Those help it to find its way in the center. And when the pupil comes down after surgery, you don't see the implant. With this dark circle, most of the light passes right through the center.
Interesting. Now, this is, the next side we're going to see is traditional lens. And this that we're seeing here, this is what's considered a multifocal lens?
Yeah, so we have lenses of all sorts nowadays. And one of the more popular designs is a multifocal. It's a great and very popular technology because it helps you to see far and it helps you to see near. But what it does in order to do that is sort of split light. And in the middle of the range, so you can see maybe pretty well far away and you can see maybe pretty well on your phone, but at arm's length where the computer is, you don't always have perfect focus because that's kind of in the middle zone. What we really want is to be 25 years old and have the vision of a Navy fighter pilot, right? Yeah. We want to see far away, we want to see up close, and everything in between. And this pinhole design gets us closer to that. It allows a range of focus, and we have a picture that shows different eye charts at different focal lengths.
Okay, so this is yeah.
And so
tell us what we're seeing here.
Yeah, and so what you see here is these are called Air Force targets, and they're used by the Air Force to measure optics of designs and to measure people's vision. And if you look at these in the top row going across In green, you see almost all the pictures are focused from left to right. Depends on the size of your TV screen, how clear this is, but you can see most of those images are clear. In the middle is what's called a diffractive multifocal lens. And there's some clear in about the third box from the left, and there's some clear way to the right side, but a lot of the other images are a little fuzzed out. And then the bottom row is another type of multifocal that similarly is good, but doesn't have as clear optics as a pinhole. And so the idea here is that when you compare to rows 2 and 3, which are the most advanced implants we have today, this pinhole optics or small aperture optics actually provides even better focus.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. It corrects astigmatism, it corrects nearsightedness and farsightedness, and it gives a range of vision with very little downside. So we're excited about this technology.
And now this is, you've said, it's already been used in other countries, and right now you're going through testing.
That's right. So it's approved in Australia. So if you're having cataract surgery and you want to take a trip, you can have it done there.
There you go.
Here in this country, starting this summer, we'll be doing some implants as part of our FDA study. We've seen in other countries as well where testing and implants have been done that the results are quite good. It's also, I should add, particularly good for people who have abnormal eyes, people who've had maybe radial keratotomy or an older surgery, corneal transplant, or other reasons that their eyes are not quite normal, where they're harder to fix with a traditional implant. Because this doesn't require a lot of focusing, it sort of is forgiving of those imperfections in the eye. It's pretty good for eyes that are less than perfect.
Now, what about the folks who today are getting the lenses that are out now, even if they get the most advanced lens? Is it something they can switch out 2-3 years from now?
It's tough to switch a lens later, and we try not to do that because the lens tends to heal inside the eye and stay pretty firmly set. You can run into complications when you switch out an implant. And so, you know, at any time, just like when you buy a computer, there's always going to be a better technology in the future. And so it's good to be educated about what's there. If you've got some time and it's not urgent, it's good to know about what's coming in the next few months. And this is something that we educate our patients on all the time because they, you know, here in Orange County, folks want to know what's the latest, what's the best for my eyes. And we're well equipped to educate them on that. And then you make a decision that's rational based upon what's available when you need surgery.
Well, it's always good to see these advances, and I've said this before. I've been talking to you, I want to say, has it been like 8-10 years? I mean, it's been a long time.
Long time.
And,
long time.
Yeah, long time, yeah. And just the advances that we've seen, I mean, tremendous. It's almost parallels, well, it does parallel what we see in the tech world.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Just like the phone you carry in your pocket today is 10 times faster than the one you had 2 years ago. The implants we see are incrementally improving, and sometimes we see big leaps forward in our technology.
Yeah, and it just keeps getting better. One more question, and I like to always ask this: how often should people come in and get their eyes checked, assuming that so far in their life they haven't had any real problems?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, if you're over 50, it's a good idea to have an eye exam once a year.
Okay.
If you have absolutely no medical problems with the eye, you could stretch that to every 2 years, but surely no more than every 2 years. And the reason is that we know that silent diseases like glaucoma can develop without any symptoms at all, and they can blind you if they're not caught early enough. So waiting 5 years or longer, as many of our patients do, is just way too long. It's a shame to have to learn that you've got a blinding disease that you should have caught several years ago, but you just never saw a doctor.
Yeah, and an eye exam is very easy, relatively quick, maybe a half hour, 45 minutes.
Right. And that's right. And even if you have good vision, you still need to have an eye exam just for good care to make sure you don't have a silent disease.
Yeah, good advice. Dr. H, always good to see you.
Always a pleasure.
Always good folks over at Harvard Eye, and it seems like, as I just said, every time they come on, there's a new technology that's on the horizon, and get your eyes checked. That's the main thing, right?
Yep.
All right. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you as well.
Take care. Say hi to everyone over there.
Will do.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.